So Alain Prost in the lead is being caught quite rapidly. Here is Alain Prost on his 29th lap. Ayrton Senna has got the gap down from 31 seconds to 18 seconds.
Yes, this means that at the current rate of progress, Prost is going to have to find another gear, because Senna is catching him quite comfortably enough to do it well before the end of the race, with plenty of time to find a way around him.
Here's the leader. Senna second, fell off the two new boys of Grand Prix racing this season in second and third places. Arnoux is fourth, Rosberg is fifth, and catching Arnoux, De Angelis is sixth. The last man to be on the same lap as the leader. Alboreto is a lap behind in seventh place. Ghinzani is the highest he's ever been in a Grand Prix, in eighth position. In ninth place is Jacques Lafitte. Then 4 laps behind the leader, but now out of the race, Patrese, as is Lauda. Winkelhock is retired, Mansell's out, Piquet's out, Hinault's out. There are very few people left running in the race, and there's going to be even. We must watch the tunnel very carefully, because although it was watered at the beginning of the race, of course it hasn't been watered since. Whereas the rain has continued to belt down on every other part of this Monaco lap. Now here is the leader coming through again. The gap was 18 seconds. He goes round Saint-Devote and starts to climb the hill for the 30th time in what we expect to be about a 60-lap race. And the gap between himself and Ayrton Senna is now 15 seconds. Ayrton Senna is catching this man, number 7, race leader Alain Prost, Marlboro McLaren, at the rate of 3 seconds a lap. So in 5 laps' time, if he keeps doing it, Ayrton Senna is going to be right with the race leader, with only just over half of the race run at that time.
But I think we are watching the arrival of Ayrton Senna as truly outstanding talent in Grand Prix racing. The rain is coming down even harder now. We've got a real cloud burst on now. But Ayrton Senna has the same tires that Alain Prost is running, the same tires that the other Michelin runners. He's on Michelin tires, and he's catching Alain Prost at something like 3 seconds a lap. And that is a truly staggering performance. The Tolman is obviously a good chassis, which is a great credit to their team. They put it together, it's quite new. Look at the rain now. You can see that it's much heavier, the track is much wetter than it was a couple of laps ago, and now that's about the view you get when you're following another car. That brief one when he just came through and all the spray came up. And it's really horrible conditions. But Ayrton Senna is coping with them, and he's catching Prost hand over fist for the lead.
I can't believe that they're going to keep running this race. The conditions are the worst I have ever seen in a long, long time of watching races. Now here is Prost coming through again, and I'm going to start the stopwatch. 15 seconds was the gap. If Senna is continuing to close at the rate of 3 seconds, and that Prost is waving his hand. Prost goes through, waving his hand at the officials. He wants to stop the race, and who can blame him? Now, I'm just waiting for Senna to come through, and the gap as Senna goes through, quite dispassionately, is down to 11 seconds. He's taken 4 seconds out of Prost's lead.
Yes, Prost, with his experience, wants the race stopped, and I can't blame him for that, because I wouldn't have even wanted to have started in it. But the fact of the matter is, it's a very slow track here. There's a lot of corners, cars don't go very fast, and aquaplaning is not normally a problem. I can't, from this position sitting here, say that it is or it isn't a problem, but normally there isn't enough water on the track. It's a very hilly track, so you don't get a lot of lying water. And this is aquaplaning. There is, in fact, from a purist and a dispassionate point of view, no reason to stop the race.
But a lot of engines are drowning now. Arnoux has gone past with a badly misfiring Ferrari engine, followed almost immediately by Keke Rosberg with the same trouble. And I would suspect that they are both running on only 5 cylinders.
Do you not suspect, Murray, possibly that that's because they're using half throttle because the conditions have got so bad? It may be that it isn't a misfire, it's just the way they're driving the engine, possibly.
It could indeed be just that, because it affects the turbocharger balance. And that's Alboreto catching Prost. Now, Alboreto has in fact been lapped, and Prost is slowing right down. And Alboreto keeps going. I'm beginning to think that Prost is in some sort of trouble. Don't forget that we suspect that Niki Lauda's engine was drowned. The gap, and we are now coming up to complete the 31st lap in what we expect to be a 60-lap race if it goes the full 2 hours. Alboreto having been push-started. Once more we'll take the gap between Prost and Senna, first and second. It was 11 seconds, having come down from 15 on the previous lap. Prost waved his hand the previous lap, but not this one. And there goes Senna, and it's only 7 seconds now. What will happen if the race is stopped? Well, at this point, it could be that they will just decide the conditions are so bad that they can't restart it, in which case the positions as they are now would be declared the final race positions and half points would be awarded. And it might conceivably mean that, as in the French Grand Prix a couple of years ago, the race will be restarted later when hopefully the conditions have improved a bit, although I can't see much likelihood of them doing so. And out is going the red flag. The race is being stopped. There's an official in front of me with a red flag. The Monaco Grand Prix is going to be stopped.
And I was about to say that I felt that Prost had a very big advantage being the lead as a Frenchman when the conditions got this bad, because it is French officialdom, and I think if they stop the race, Tolman and Ayrton Senna will have a very, very reasonable grudge as he goes through catching Prost hand over fist. And I think that this is what I would call French timing. To be as polite as possible, it does seem to me a bit wrong. And Senna could catch him, but he's got the Ferrari in the way.
Well, there goes Prost into the Rascasse corner, chased by Senna in second place, just about 2 or 3 seconds behind him now. There's an official right in the middle of the road now, showing the red flag, and the checkered flag is going out. They are stopping. This is going to be the end of the Monaco Grand Prix with Alain Prost. And Prost is stopping, and Senna crosses the line before he gets there. Now that's amazing. Prost has stopped actually on the line. Senna passed him as he got to the line, but subject to official confirmation, I'm virtually certain that Prost has won with Senna second.
Yes, I think Prost crossed the line just before Senna did, and it will be really a tragic result for Senna. However, he's not about to be world champion this year. He will undoubtedly be world champion in the future if his career continues. So whilst he has every reason and every justification for being very upset, he will he's got a big future.
The Monaco Grand Prix having been dramatically stopped on the 32nd, at the end of the 32nd lap, and having been won by Alain Prost, who has therefore now won 3 Grand Prix and finished second in 1 this year to extend his World Championship lead. A magnificent second, the man you are looking at now, Ayrton Senna, who seems conceivably to think he has won, judging by the way he's waving his hand. In third position, Stefan Beloff, equally magnificent in the Tyrrell, ahead of the 4th place man, René Arnoux in the Ferrari. In 5th position, Keke Rosberg, and in 6th place, Elio De Angelis.